Ritwik Ghatak's Meghe Dhaka tells the story of Neeta, the breadwinner of a family of 6 who works extremely hard to provide financial stability to her family and sustain the dreams of her loved ones, but gradually crumbles under the weight of immense responsibilities and lack of emotional support. Since I had immersed myself into the film with no prior knowledge about it being an allegory, it was surprising to know later that this film is classified as the first of Ghatak's Partition trilogy, Komal Gandhar and Suvarnarekha being the follow-ups. Highlighting the struggle of a working girl to sustain her refugee family, Ghatak made the film with the aim of portraying the trauma and insecurity of displaced Bengali refugees in the aftermath of the partition of Bengal in 1947. The reason I could not get the message in the first viewing is because partition is never explicitly mentioned in the film, nor is the location clearly established, of that of a refugee camp in the outskirts of Calcutta, where people are trying to rebuild their lives. Ghatak does this perhaps to make the film more abstract and stimulating, instead of an outright definitive political commentary. Unlike the other two films in the trilogy, Meghe Dhaka is implicit in its story and treatment, which apart from multiple viewings, demands a general knowledge on the subject matter to grasp to a certain degree what the filmmaker is trying to say. It is extremely difficult for a non-Bengali, however, to experience the visceral impact that the film is capable of delivering. As film writer Manishita Das puts it, the emotional impact of the film depends in part on very specific cultural knowledge. Example, knowledge of the specificities of Bengal's regional history, the partition's impact on Bengali society, the Bengali middle class habitus, the folk music of East Bengal, the songs of Rabindranath Tagore, or the nuances of the Bengali language. Interestingly, eminent filmmaker Satyajit in an interview described Ritwik Ghatak as a quintessential Bengali artist and filmmaker. Ghatak never focused on making his films universal, as Ray did with his works, which made the latter a global icon and a flag bearer of Indian cinema. Ghatak sought to portray society's issues, utilizing distinctive qualities of the culture he grew up in. Unlike Ray, he was not shy of employing melodrama or songs, for instance, which are some of the unique traits of Indian films. The songs of Meghe Dhaka, both diegetic and non-diegetic, are fused with background score and sound design to create an intricate soundtrack. Although most songs in the film are linked to Shankar, since he's a singer, few compositions provide a commentary on what the characters are feeling, where the story is heading, or on the situation itself. The song Je Raate Moar Duar Guli that Neeta and Shankar sing together is an example of Rabindra Sangeet, songs written and composed by Tagore, that captures the state of mind of our protagonist. O Majhi, a Bhatyali song, folk music of pre-partition Bengal, highlights the uncertain future of the family. Aigo Uma Kole Loe is another Bengali folk song, utilized several times in the film as a non-diegetic track, most prominently in the instances when Neeta's father asks her to leave the house even though she is severely unwell, and in the emotional coda to the film. The song is a reference to the mythic tale of Menka singing to her daughter Uma, an embodiment of Durga, after she has endured the sufferings of penance. Ghatak aims to counterpoint Neeta's reality here. She is not the new bride that the song refers to. Instead, she is the desolate daughter who is no longer reside in the house. Earlier in the film, Neeta is linked to goddess Jagadhatri, which translates to the nurturer of the world, another incarnation of Durga, when it is revealed that she is born on the day of Jagadhatri Puja. Evidently, the director is making use of Indian mythology to form metaphors to layer the central character. Ghatak employs the sound of whiplash to emphasize Neeta's feeling of being humiliated and betrayed, notably at 2 points in the film. One, when Neeta finds another woman at Sanat's place, and second, during her repetition of Je Raate Moa Duaguli refrain, prior to her inconsolable weeping. The scene towards the end, wherein Neeta breaks into a sudden outburst, voicing her desire to live, is accompanied by loud, non-diegetic sounds of cloudbursts, utilized like a musical instrument. A bizarre fizzing sound is heard multiple times in the film, when Nita is reading the letter informing the family of Montu's accident, when she feels weak at the hospital, during the meeting with Shankar at the sanatorium, among other points, including the final scene of the film. Ghatak manages to create a feeling of dread and intensify Nita's pain using these non-diegetic oral motives. Ghatak's manipulation of diegetic sounds is also noteworthy. At various points, a steam train makes an appearance in the backdrop of the river bank, particularly during the conversations between Nita and Sanat, interrupting their dialogue with its screeching whistle. This clearly is a reference to the partition wherein trains were the mode of transport for uprooted people travelling between India and Pakistan. Moreover, it foreshadows Sanat and Nita's separation. In the house, when the mother is eavesdropping on Sanat and Nita's conversation, Ghatak amplifies the sound of the boiling kettle as the camera cuts to the anxious mother, who sees Nita's relationship with Sanat as a threat to the family's existence. A heavy gust of wind accentuates the moment Nita spots Sanat and Geeta idling outdoors. There are several other moments like these that establish the point that the sound world of the film has been carefully crafted by the director. Within a melodramatic context, Ghatak uses songs and mythology in Meghe Dhaka to effectively tell the story. In general, Ghatak's films are majorly Indian in sensibility, catering primarily to his Indian, more so Bengali audience. This, however, does not mean that Ghatak was utterly detached from the world. He was heavily influenced by the doctrines of Marxism, the works of Soviet filmmakers, and the philosophy of Carl Jung. The sound of Meghe Dhaka, for instance, is much ahead of its time. The superlative sound design, diegetic and non-diegetic, imbues the work with another layer of information to amplify the intellectual and cinematic experience. There's a Kafkaesque moment in Komal Gandhar wherein the screen goes black just before a train carrying refugees is about to crash into a barrier on the banks of Padma River that connects Bangladesh and India. It's a highly expressionistic scene that captures the shock and pain of partition. With the Partition trilogy, Ghatak brought to the fore the effects of partition, how it resulted in a major tectonic shift in the society, and the umpteen problems it produced in his homeland. These films, made by a Bengali, are of the Bengali people and for the Bengali people. There's more to Meghe Dhaka than it being just a tragic tale of survival, betrayal, and abandonment. Nita resides not only in a tyrannous family, but in a debilitated post-partition Bengal that suffers from a stagnant atmosphere of oppression and misery.